everyone, welcome back to Newsroom. I'm Chella Smith. This is your Middle East U.S. entertainment news here on YouTube. I air on Fridays. I bring you the latest on reforms and economics of Iraq based on reports put out by the Middle East news media outlets. I do this weekly review and it's based off my interests. Thank you everyone for joining me. Last week we talked about floating the Iraqi Dinar, digital banking, the World Trade Organization, credit ratings, United Nations, the energy sector. Let's take a look at this week's headlines. Iraq is exploring the possibility of licensing brokerage companies to trade on a global stock exchange. The Securities Commission in Iraq is considering licensing brokerage companies to trade in global stock exchanges. The authority is working to support the development of the stock market by studying the licensing and brokerage companies for the first time in Iraq. This steps comes in the context of protecting citizens' rights to trade without an official license by the Security Commission. The authority is working to provide a stimulating investment environment, enhancing investor confidence, and raising Iraq's position in global financial markets. The Minister of Finance is scheduled to present the 2024 budget schedule early next week. The Finance Committee Chairman Antoine Al-Atwani has confirmed the Minister of Finance is hosting the 2024 budget scheduled meeting for next week. The Finance Minister will discuss operational expenses and funding files. The committee has agreed to complete discussions on the Angel Amendment Act, which will be submitted to the House of Representatives for voting. And the advisor to the Sudanese anticipates Parliament to approve the budget schedule before Eid, but warns of potential delays. Mohammed Shalay, the financial advisor to Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, has signed the approval of the 2024 financial budget schedule for the House of Representatives before Eid al-Adha holiday. Shalay believes that the level of coordination between the legislative and executive authority will accelerate the approval of the schedule. As per Article 77S of the Federal Budget Public Law, the tripartite number 13 of 2023 says that the delay affects investment spending for new projects and aligns with the government's ministerial programs for sustainable and economic development. The Council of Ministers approved the 2024 budget schedule in the extraordinary session, and the Secretariat of the House of Representatives announced the receipt of the schedule. The Parliamentary Finance Committee is discussing the schedule with weighing to vote on them before June 9th. The committee will include ministerials of finance and planning to discuss the current and investment expenses, budget paragraphs related to citizens' needs, contracts, and appointments. Iraq's plans to increase the capacity of the northern refineries to 600,000 barrels per day. The North Refinery Company in Baghdad has announced its total refining capacities, aiming to become a major liquidation company in the Middle East. The company is constructing Refinery Unit 3 at Saleh al-Din Refinery, which could add 70,000 barrels per day to the refinery complex. The company is also constructing new refinery units at Saleh al-Din 1 and Saleh al-Din 2 with the aim of completing them this year. The total refining capacities of the company is expected to reach 584,000 barrels per day. For more details on the Northern Refinery Companies by the Minister of Oil, follow us on Patreon. Subscribe now for daily updates. And if you're not subscribed here on YouTube, subscribe now, hit that like button so you're never left behind on our weekly reports. And the Council of Ministers has decisions regarding lagging projects and financial reforms. The Sudanese Council of Ministers adopted new decisions regarding regularizing projects and financial reforms during Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani's 21st regular session. The decision, including installing 17 general managers in separate departments and addressing the tragic incident involving the Iranian president and foreign affairs. The session also reviewed anti-corruption performance reports for 2023 and directed ministers to follow up with recommendations. The council also approved increasing reserves for lagging and suspended service projects and installing director generals in various ministries. The The council also approved a traffic jam mitigation project. The council of ministers approved several measures to improve Iraq's infrastructure, including Mohammed Al-Qasem Road Project, the financing of International Security Forces Hospital, and the adoption of the National Methodology for Good Governance Standards in Iraq. They also approved a 1-month contract extension for Dutch Boscus Company for energy projects and approved a contract extension for Al Hilal Oil Company. The council also agreed to submit a memorandum to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to open a consulate in Germany. Additionally, the council supported localization of the pharmaceutical industry. The Council of Ministry approved an exception for the National Health Factory in the resolution to support localizations of pharmaceutical industry. They also amended a resolution process justice book for real estate registration departments. The council authorized the Ministry of Justice to negotiate a cooperation agreement with Bangladesh for transferring deprivation of liberty. They also approved Iraq's contribution to climate change efforts. And the Central Bank of Iraq, the CBI, has announced the launch of the National Lending Strategy of 2024 and 25, marking the beginning of the second phase of its banking reform strategy. This follows the completion of the first phase, which focuses on regulating foreign trade financing, establishing international banking relations, and introducing local currency for trade exchanges. The bank is also working on transitioning from the monetary economy to digital economy and collaborating with the government to expand electronic payment tools and promote a cash society culture. The second phase will focus on restructuring banks, particularly government ones, and implementing new policies to support small and medium enterprises. The bank will also phase out the online platform this year. The central bank is also working to rehabilitating restricted banks from dealing in U.S. dollars to comply with international standards. The bank's expectations for the second phase will be reflected in the stability of the exchange rate and the recovery of the Iraqi dinar. And I know nobody wants to hear this, but Joe Biden has extended Iraq's national emergency for an additional year, citing challenges to reconstruction, peace, security restoration, and the development of Iraq's political, administrative, and economic institutions. The national emergency will continue in effect after May 22nd, 2024, as per Resolution 13303 on Iraq, passed in 2003 under former President George W. Bush. The decision allows the U.S. president to issue orders for international trade and address any threats to national security, as per the order issued by former President George W. Bush following the 2003 invasion of Iraq. And I expect to see that order take effect all the way until Iraq meets international standards. And could it be the end here very soon? United Nations Janine Becherit is relocating to Lebanon after completing her task in Iraq. The United Nations Security General has appointed Janine Becherit as the new special coordinator for the Office of United Nations Special Coordinator in Lebanon, with over 25 years of experience in diplomacy, international security, and Middle East affairs. She will succeed Ioana Franska. The IMF has announced a fiscal expansion plan to boost growth in Iraq. The IMF has released a report on Iraq's economy, highlighting improvements in domestic stability and economic recovery. The report also highlighted the decline in domestic inflation to 4% by the end of 2023, also highlighting the worsening of imbalance due to fiscal expansion and lower oil prices. The report also highlighted the potential for medium-term sovereignty debt stress and external stability risks, including the ongoing conflicts in Gaza and Israel. The Executive Board of International Monetary Fund has endorsed Iraq's economic rebound, declining inflation, and improved domestic conditions. They emphasized the need for sound microeconomic policies and structured reforms to ensure fiscal and debt sustainability, economic diversification, and sustainable growth. They commended the central bank's effort to tighten monetary policy, accelerate reconstructing of state-owned banks, and promoting the private sector development. They also welcomed the renewal effort towards the World Trade Organization, Ascension, and improve statistic coverage. Per the Kurdistan 24 report, a violent altercation occurred in Iraqi parliament during the process of selecting a new speaker last Saturday. A fight broke out in Iraqi parliament over selecting a new speaker, resulting in several injuries. The session to elect the speaker was postponed indefinitely. However, the four candidates' failure to win one of 66 out of 329 votes in the first round, leading to a second round where the competition was between al-Mashhadadi and al-Asawi. The second round ended up without selecting anyone. The votes in the second round were as followed. Al-Mashhadadi had 137 votes, and al-Asawi had 158 votes, and Jabbar had 3 votes. A fight broke out in the third round, and sessions to elect a speaker has been postponed for now. And you've been watching Newsroom Weekly Review. I'm Chella Smith with your Middle East U.S. entertainment news on reforms and economics of Iraq. I bring you the latest in our news without having to keep up with all the different outlets. I'm here on YouTube every Friday, so don't forget to subscribe and turn those notification bells on. If you like my content, give me a thumbs up. If you really like my content, you can always see the super chat or a super thanks in the comment section below. Again, thank you for being a subscriber, and thank you for visiting Newsroom Chella Smith for your trusted Dinar News. I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Make sure you join us Fridays, 4 p.m. with Newsroom Updates with Chella Smith Entertainment News.